Hey you guys, welcome back to Angel Angela, and on this topic I wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about how the narcissist plans ahead. How the narcissist plans ahead. You know, they always have to be a couple of steps ahead of the game. They always have to be a couple steps ahead of you. You know, some narcissists, you know, plan ahead because of the trauma that they've been through. So they're constantly on survival mode. Other narcissists, you know, have been groomed by other narcissists to plan ahead, you know, so that they don't have to make the same choices, you know, that they made, or to become a greater narcissist, you know. But a lot of times when you get into these relationships with these people, you don't realize that they're living in another world, right? You wanted the fairy tale. You weren't competing. See, the narcissist has been competing from the beginning. You know, some of them from childhood, you know, they started to pay attention to the competitiveness. You know, you're at school, you're running track during PE. You know, whoever's the fastest, you know, is someone that is impressionable, you know, and the attention that person is getting, or someone is good at sports, or, you know, in class. And when the narcissist competes and they don't win, they have to figure out, how can I get attention and win? How can I, you know, if I can't be smart, if I can't play sports, if I can't do certain things, then I'll cheat. I'll cheat my way in. I'll cheat in class, you know, just to get by. The narcissist cheats their way out of everything, right? I'm just going to copy. It's not a big deal. Until they see their friends go to college, and now they're like, wow, I was copying this whole time, and it's still going to backfire on me, because now, you know, I haven't graduated, or I haven't, or I can't get into the college I want to get to, you know, I can't go to the university I want to go to. So people do things, narcissistic things, to stay on top. Sometimes it wasn't their fault. You know, sometimes they didn't have the love, the support, you know, and now they find themselves getting into fights, hanging around the wrong crowd, you know, and then there's this envy for people who have more, people who are in better situations, you know. You're being bullied, you're being picked on at school by the bullies, by the people who think that they're so tough, right? And you don't even know that that person is secretly just envious of you. You know, you go to class, you mind your business, you know, they see that, you know, you're getting awarded by your parents. Now you have a brand new phone. You're getting, you know, results for your hard work. And the focus becomes drama, gossiping, you know, having friends, anything to feel connected, because you haven't formed an identity for yourself. So then you identify with your friends and the people around you, you know. Or everything is always given to you. You've always been beautiful. You've always been able to get certain things easy. Things come easy for you. Or you're handsome. Things come easy for you. Your teachers like you. They're planning ahead for you. You know, they're planning ahead for you. You might not be the brightest, but hey, you're good in sports. People are planning ahead for you. You know, your teachers, your coaches. People plan ahead for you because you're good at something. Or, like I said, your looks are getting you by, and you don't feel like, you might not feel like, you know, like things are given to you, because you still have to put in the work. So you could put in the work and feel like, I work hard, you know, like that quote, you know, that Kim Kardashian had said a while ago, where she said, you know, you people need to get up and work, or something like that. And I remember a lot of people, you know, had a lot of backlash because of that, because some people are handicapped, incapable, are put in positions where they're not able to get the jobs that they want, you know, don't have the finances, don't have the support, don't have daycare, single parents, everything is harder, you know, everyone is going through many different situations. And then you have those people that feel like you're not working hard enough. You could be working, you know, full time. You could be, you know, working extra hours, and it's still not supplying you with the lifestyle that you have, and then the things that you want to do to elevate yourself. You know, you have to do it on your own, but you know, it gets hard. Things come up. Car accidents, flat tires, things are constantly coming up. It almost feels like you're on a hamster wheel. So a lot of narcissists, they see that competitiveness. They see, hey, if you keep losing, you're a loser. So the narcissist feels like they have to make it to the top by all means, and it's only the right thing to do, because they don't want to get left behind. Because if they get left behind, you know, they feel like, hey, I'm gonna die, I'm not gonna make it, something's gonna happen, and it's gonna be my own demise if I let myself stuck thinking about the past, or if I leave myself stuck thinking about my traumas. So I have to keep moving forward. I can't think about that. I can't put my emotions in it. I have to survive. So this is why a lot of people feel victimized by narcissists, because you were most likely living in your own little world. You had a lot of goals, you know, ambitions, things that you wanted to do for yourself. A lot of you were working on those things, but you weren't in competition with anyone. You were just living your own, you know, your little happy life. It might have not been perfect. Nothing is ever perfect. You might have not been able to know how to deal with stress, codependent, don't know how to deal with problems. And you might have people around you that are willing to lift you up. And when the narcissist sees that, it makes them envious. They get mad, they get jealous, they get angry. Especially if they don't have that. And even if they have that, they might feel like you have more supply than them. This is why they target you. Because to them, you're supply. It's kind of like, I can cheat off of you so that I can move on to the next level. So I'm going to cheat off of you. But then, you know, when we get caught, I already know I'm going to blame you. I'm thinking ahead. I already know I'm going to blame you. I'm going to say, it was you copying me. I'm going to get you in trouble. But the end results for the narcissist will always backfire, because eventually you keep cheating your way through different scenarios, situations with people in relationships. You burn bridges and you burn you know, how people view you. You change people's perception of you over time. And it doesn't matter how much you try to be a good person. People will perceive you for the things that you've done, the bad things you've done, your behavior, your bad actions, even if you were influenced by other people. You know, someone can influence you to do drugs. Someone can influence you to sell your body, to go online, making OnlyFans. People can influence you to do these things. But once you're wrapped up in that world, and you're in a world that you probably shouldn't have been in the first place because you have good parents, now, you know, your parents are thinking ahead. The people around you are thinking ahead. My son is going to end up dead. Someone's going to human traffic my daughter, or someone's going to stalk her, or her boyfriend's going to kill her because he's influencing her. So people have to live with the choices that they make. And a lot of us, we get upset because people were thinking ahead for us. And certain people didn't warn us. And even if they warned us, we couldn't see it. It was like a curse. And then by the time you could see it, you're stuck in that generational curse. And now you're stuck looking at your parents and the people around you, and you understand why you ended up in that situation. It was like, no matter how hard I worked, it was bound to happen. I was close to it. I was close to getting out. And something sucks you in. You know, if you get caught up with narcissist people, they suck you in. It's a generational curse. Why do you think so many people try to break this generational curse? The curse is the narcissism going on in families, in society. You know, there's certain people who you blame, sometimes your parents, and they were probably caught up in that generational curse as well, but you couldn't see it until it happened to you. And that's how you can empathize more with the people around you, you know, because a lot of times you don't want to be like them. That's like your biggest fear, is turning out like them. So you're doing everything, you know, you're looking down on everyone. You're like, I'm getting out, you know. And some people get out. Some people get out. Sometimes, you know, your parent could be stuck in this generational curse, and now, you know, your sibling got stuck in that generational curse, and then there's that younger sibling that's learning from everyone, you know, and they look down on the people around them, not knowing that they're forced to live how they're living by any means. It's not that they want to live like that. It's that they ran out of time. They ran out of options, resources, you know. And sometimes, you know, that hate that they weren't able to accomplish certain things, you know, they become codependent on you. And you might feel like you didn't ask for this. You feel like, you know, they're narcissists. They're sucking the life out of me. I don't know what to do. I have to get away. You know, some cases are worse than others. Especially if you're dealing with parents who, you know, ended up at the bottom, you know, and sometimes you have that person who they're angry at everyone around them, and then they sacrifice their family members. They sacrifice their siblings. You know, their siblings, they wanted to break that generational curse too. But guess what? That other sibling or that younger sibling caught on to everything. And they said, I'm sacrificing everyone. You know? And they don't just get up and say, I'm going to leave my family. You know, my family, this isn't the kind of family. This is not my vision of a family. And they'll throw everybody under the bus, and then they leave. And then they have these sob stories to people of how they made it out of this toxic family. But they won't tell you they sacrificed everyone. They got greedy. They got competitive because they were on survival mode. You know, and now they said, you know, I'm going to create all this chaos because of my own anger. And once I create the chaos and show everyone how much I hate them and I hate this life I was brought into, I'm going to sacrifice them. I'm going to do something, and then I'm going to leave. That's what narcissists do. They create problems and then they leave. And then they have stories of how they were the victim, you know? Or sometimes, you know, you're an empath and you are brought into a narcissistic family that is willing to do anything to stay on top. And they're planning ahead. They're planning your future. But they're keeping a lot of things from you. You don't know how the world really is. They haven't really talked to you about things. They want you to not even see the competition. They want you to feel like, you know, you already won. They want you to stick your nose in the air and belittle the people around you. Don't even talk to them. Don't even talk to your cousins over there. They're low down. They have, you know, they have poor energy. Don't even talk to them. Don't even talk to them, because it's a betrayal to our family. Because if you talk to them, most likely you're going to find out that your narcissistic family sacrificed them to stay on top. So they keep you in the fog, and here you are working as a flying monkey, and you think you're a good person, and you think certain family members are evil or messed up, or they just want someone to blame for their problems. But they won't tell you that a lot of those people ended up in that situation that they're in because of certain positions that certain family members put them in, when it didn't even have to be that way. It was just that competitiveness. So the whole family could have been in a good position. Everyone has their own homes, everyone has money, but then the narcissist gets jealous. They don't want to give no one anything else. The golden child is sacrificing everyone else because they want to keep that generational wealth for their own family. So that golden child is thinking ahead. They're thinking, oh, my siblings think they're going to get something. Oh, I'm going to play nice with them right now. I'm going to help them when they need it. I'm going to come to the rescue. I'm going to portray like I'm a good person. I'm going to make big, beautiful parties that they can enjoy themselves in. But it's going to cost them because I'm already planning ahead. They're not going to keep a dime. It's all going to go to my family. They're thinking ahead, you know? So you have narcissists that are, you know, not given the same opportunities in life, that are just more toxic in a different way, in a more low down level, where it's like they'll sacrifice you over $100. They'll sacrifice you over $500, $1,000. You know, your parent, your daughter is taking you to court over $1,000. You know, then you have those, you know, narcissistic families that are doing a little bit better, you know, good careers, you know, good opportunities. Golden child is beautiful. They're training their golden child to go and marry someone wealthy, you know. Their child is being pimped, you know. And I'm saying this because, you know, I come from a narcissistic family, and I can see everyone's viewpoints. I could see all the different narcissists and how they think and what they were thinking when they made certain choices, and, you know, how they were looking out for themselves, and how money mattered more than family and things like that. And I'm speaking from experience, because a lot of you might feel like that won't happen to your family. You might feel like we have a big happy family, you know. My family was that way. My family was a family that the whole community looked up to, and they still look up to. They just don't know the family secrets, you know, because these people plan ahead. They know that by the time you figure it out, things are going to be different in a way where you won't be able to defend yourself. And even if you defend yourself, no one's going to believe you. And even if you defend yourself, they will believe you, but you're going to realize that you're basically saying, help, help. You know, they won. They won the race. I didn't even know I was in a game. I didn't even know I was in a race. You're telling people your story, hoping that they'll feel sorry for you. And they're acting like they're empathetic. And they're like, man, I feel you. I feel you. But in the back of their head, they're thinking, you're just mad because you lost and they won. That's how they view narcissism. It's like, you're just mad because they're more predatory than you, and you were prey. And, you know, they almost admire the villain. They admire them. It's like, you're mad because they outsmarted you, and you're like, wait, I thought you don't do that to family. I thought you don't do certain things, right? And these people, you'll see that they'll still keep coming around the narcissist. You told your story thinking it was going to change something. If anything, now they want to come visit them even more. They admire them. Because they feel like, if I was in that situation, I would do the same. Because I also think ahead. I also think ahead. You know. They treat you like strangers. Like, you know, you can go from having a very close family, and the older you get, the more competitive people get. You'll see that certain family members won't be around anymore because they're not as successful as certain family members. You'll see certain family members aren't around because they're too successful, and the people around them don't want nothing to do with them because they're not getting anything out of it. Because they come around and they're looking for, you know, acceptance. They're looking for admiration. And these other narcissists are like, you're trying to make it seem like I'm trying to be negative and I'm not happy for you, but you're also coming around bragging, and then you're trying to make it seem like because I'm not kissing your ass, I'm the narcissist. And you're playing victim that, oh, I'm so successful, you're jealous of me. You see? So there could be two different versions of how these people are viewing the situation, you know? And a lot of times we tend to view things from our own perspective, from our own lives, from our own struggles. We try to connect to people through traumas, things that we both went through and can talk about and understand within, you know, one another. But this is where the narcissism comes from, and this is where generational curses are created. You know, a lot of times you don't want to end up being like your parents, and you end up being like them. And you're like, dang, how did I get here? I was trying so hard not to get here. A lot of times you got there because people were expecting you to turn out like them in the first place. You know, they were trying to mold you to be what they wanted you to be. And if you had an opinion or a mind of your own, or you had certain interests that didn't involve what they wanted you to do, they intentionally tried to destroy you. They already thought to themselves, you're going to end up being like your parent. You know, I can help you and you could be like me. But if you're not exactly like me, if you don't listen to me, if you don't do as I say, I'm going to destroy you. I can't just allow you to come into my world with tools to help you break that generational curse. And now if you behave in a way where I feel offended, then I can't just let you walk away and feel like you can make it without me, or, you know, leave with all the information I gave you. You have to pay the price. That's what makes narcissist people so fucked up, is that it's not like they could just let you leave. You know what I'm saying? They use you. They plan ahead for you. Just like when they get with you in a relationship, they're already thinking to themselves, okay, this person has access to, you know, they have their own home, they have this, they have that. How long do you think I can stay with this person without them noticing that I'm a phony? You know? So they'll stick around. Oh, wow. I've made it a year. Okay. They're planning ahead. Okay, I haven't got the job of my dreams. I'm gonna keep playing this person until I get it. Okay, I got the job of my dreams. Okay, you know, now I'm gonna start acting brand new on them. Now I'm gonna show them who I really am, because now I've made it to another level. Sometimes you don't realize how much you help the narcissist, because when they get with you, they make everything look so easy, but that's because you're giving them the confidence that they never got. You know, that's why they love attention so much. They don't care whether it's positive or negative. It's like, as long as I'm in the game. Sometimes the narcissist was out the game when you met them. You know, they tell you, oh, I changed a lot. I'm nothing like how I used to be. I used to be really ruthless back in the day. I was this evil person back in the day. They're telling you who they are. And they're giving you a perspective or of them that's not who they are. You know, they act like they change, and they haven't really changed. They just kind of calmed down because they got taken out of the game. Things got too sticky for them, you know, and then they weren't able to get the same type of supply until you came along, and they took advantage of that. And they felt like it's better to sacrifice you than themselves. And a part of them it's like, I know I shouldn't do this. I know it's wrong. That's why a lot of you ask yourselves, do they know what they're doing? Yeah, they're planning ahead. They know it's wrong. And then when things are happening to you, bad things, and they're destroying your life, they disappear. And if they see that you're trying to get your life back on track, they reappear. Because to them, it's like, if bad things happen and I disappear, then I won't be responsible for those things that are happening to you. And those are the times where you're actually hurting, because you're expecting them to be there for you. You're like, you know, I've sacrificed my time, my energy, you know, the people in my life, thinking I was going to start this new life with this person. and you're not knowing that they're sacrificing you too. They're basically looking at it like, hey, if your family sacrificed you, if your daddy left you, if your mommy left you, if your grandmother left you, why should I be here? Why should I? You're not of value to me. You're not. If it's not me destroying you, it's going to be someone else, because you're too weak. I'm not too weak. I'm willing to cheat my way out. You're going to die. Someone's going to kill you, or you're going to destroy yourself. And you might feel like you're not a weak person. But see, the narcissist plans ahead. This is their perspective of you already. They're already telling you who you're going to be, what you're going to be, how you're going to lose. And when they see that you're losing, they disappear, or they're not involved, or you can see their lack of empathy. You can tell they're disconnected from you. And then you will ignore it because you're like, I don't want to put so much pressure on someone when this is my problem. But they know if you wouldn't even be with them, you're selling your soul to them. I'm telling you, this is real shit, because I wish someone would have told me. And I'm not saying it's too late for me, but a lot of stuff I messed up in my life. And this is why I make these videos, to help you make it out, because I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are in good situations, or you might think it's not good, but trust me, it's not the end of the world. You're still here. You're still breathing. You still have a chance. People will tell you what you can't do, but sometimes this is why you have to fight back against what the narcissist did to you, because they feel like they know where your life is headed after they leave you. They feel like you're doomed. You're never going to be happy again. You're never going to find joy again. You're never going to move on again. They'll ruin your credit. They'll ruin, opportunities. They'll ruin relationships. They'll ruin literally everything before they leave, because to them it's like, it's still supply. If you're forgiving them and taking them back, even though bad things are happening to you, you're getting into car accidents, you're getting tickets, your stuff is going missing, or your health is declining. The narcissist is watching you. You're asking yourself, does this person know what they're doing? Hell yeah, they know what they're doing. They just don't care, because to them it's like, this is buying me time. I'm cheating at life. I'm cheating to live another day. So they can seem like they're your best friend. They're laying next to you. You can even get married to this person. But they're already thinking ahead. Hey, right now I'm working, but it's a facade. Once we get married, I'm going to put the load on you. We're gonna have a lot of kids, so it's gonna be hard for you because you're a religious person. Your family believes in marriage, and your family has money, so I know that they'll help us. They're already thinking ahead. Your parents have money, and I'm saying this from experience because I have an uncle who told someone in the neighborhood that my grandmother's house was gonna be his when she died. And this was like back in the day, and at that time, my family was, not saying super wealthy, but everyone was doing good for themselves. My grandparents invested a lot into properties and things like that. So he already knew, hey, your mother has properties. He's not thinking, you have other siblings. He's not thinking none of that. He's thinking like, this is mine. So they get married. She starts being the breadwinner. And my grandmother always used to, she always used to say, I sold my daughters for free, because the men that they ended up with are garbage. Because all the men that they got married, like all the sisters got married to men who they started off looking like the breadwinners, and in the end it was them. And if it wasn't for the women and my grandmother making sure that the women work hard, you know, they would have been doomed, you know. So a lot of the women in the family are the breadwinners, and the men are the ones taking care of the children. And this is why she said, you know, I sold them for free, because when my grandmother got married to my grandfather, he was older, he had, you know, a lot of property, and she wanted a way out of her life and her lifestyle. And my grandfather was a good man. You know, he was a great man, you know, the greatest man I ever met. And, you know, as times are changing, we're coming into times where, see, the narcissist plans ahead, right? I'm gonna marry you, I'm gonna have children with you, you know, even if I end up working and you stay at home, I know I have your family who can invest into my business, or they can put me on their business. They're thinking ahead. And sometimes the narcissists in the family are okay with that, because their whole goal is, okay, we'll help you, but make sure my daughter is okay and safe with you. And it could, and they can play it off for many years, 20, 30 years. They can play it off. Eventually, the women know that they have a transactional relationship, but they still like to live in the fantasy. And now when her parents die, that man doesn't keep his word, and now he wants a divorce because he has the lifestyle he always wanted. And now he'll divorce his wife and leave her for someone younger or someone new, you know. They were planning ahead the whole time. Okay, I'm gonna keep this promise to your parents, but until they die, they're thinking to themselves. And then sometimes, you know, the narcissist is just plain old scandalous, and they have no shame, and they'll steal from you while you're married to them and force you to divorce them, because now they're stealing from your bank accounts. They're not paying any bills. You know, they're going to work and keeping their money, and they're like, hey, the kids are 18 already, or we only got one more kid that's a minor, so you're really not going to get child support for me. They're already planning ahead, and you might be thinking, we're getting older, you know, they're going to calm down. They're going to change. A lot of women, a lot of men change, you know, wait for people to change, and they never change. They get worse. Narcissists get worse. That's part of the generational curse in families. The narcissism, it's going to come out one way or another through someone. It's going to be your sister, your brother, your mother, your father. So my whole message, I guess, in this video is that, you know, especially to the younger generation, if you're on a straight and narrow, you don't have nothing stopping you. You don't have people stopping you. You know, keep going. Don't let you know, accept advice from people older than you, but also think ahead for yourself and how the choices that you're making right now can affect you later on. And that's in anything. You know, you might be partying all the time with your friends, drinking, and you're not thinking how your health is going to deteriorate because of that drinking, how it's going to backfire on you later on. Because narcissists don't think about these things, and then they blame people, and then they get mad. And then they take it out on empaths, And then the empath, it feels like the same thing happened to them that happened to the narcissist, and now you're labeled as a bad person, or your image, the image that people had of you has changed because you're not the same person, even though you are the same person, but your lifestyle has changed, and the respect, the competitiveness, your status, your value has went down. So this is why you have to think ahead, because, you know, people will think for you. You know, if, you know, it's like, if you know you're in a situation where, hey, you can buy the things you need to, because of the representation you want to have of yourself, and then you have someone in your corner telling you, I don't think that's a smart idea. You know, you're young, you shouldn't do that, it's too soon for you to do that. You know, if you know you've had enough responsibility where you know you can handle something, and you know you've been consistent, don't listen to certain things people tell you, because that's only their perspective. They might not want you to have the best, because they feel like if it was them, they wouldn't put themselves in that situation. Sometimes you have to listen. Sometimes people are trying to help you so that you won't go through certain situations, but everyone is different. All of our lives are different. We all get treated differently. We all are put in different situations, and there's nothing you can do about that. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes people will be jealous of you because they're not in your situation, or they wish they were in your situation. They wish things could be different for them. Sometimes they just don't want to be themselves. They don't want their life. And that's why narcissists are very dangerous, because they'll take these things out on you, and then they won't stop or leave you alone until they destroy you. And then once they destroy you, now they're saying, hey, you know, tell so-and-so that I hope they're doing good and God bless them. And you feel like they're trying to attack you. They feel like they're not doing anything wrong. They're sending prayers your way, and you're like, I don't need your prayers. I don't want someone like you praying for me after what you've done, you know? So this is what happens in families, is that people are competitive, and then, you know, to top it off, they're looking to destroy. And then there's always that family member sometimes that you don't know that they have venom in them, because they're the quiet ones. They're letting everyone else do the dirty work. And then they come and they destroy, and you didn't even see it coming. You know, you didn't even see it coming. And it's really hard. You know, life is hard, you guys. And it's even harder when you're around narcissistic people. You know, once these people come into your life, a lot of us that come on here and we talk about these things, we know, because we're living it still. We're living, you know, we're having to live with the consequences of our own actions, whether we were ignorant or not. And this is why this message, you know, is very important, because narcissists will think for you. Sometimes the people around you will act like they're trying to help you. You know, they're trying to act like they're trying to help you break that generational curse in your family, and you trust them because they might be family themselves. And a part of them hates you because they hate your parents, or they feel like your parent did something to them, or they feel like your parents stole their shine, or stole, you know, or got more attention at school or certain things you know, they got to experience certain things that they didn't experience. They got to go to prom. They didn't. And they'll hold all these things against your parent, and then they'll take it out on you in a very sneaky way, because they're helping you. They're buying your school books. You know, they're acting like they care about you. And they're acting like, hey, I'm taking you under my wing. But it's really, in their mind, they're already thinking, they're planning ahead, and they're thinking, instead of thinking that certain choices that you've made out of, you know, ignorance or just being young, instead of them looking at it like that and thinking, you know, you have a lot of time to grow and mature, they're already thinking, you know, your life isn't gonna be shit, you know. They're already thinking, you know, I'm gonna invite you into my world, around my family, my kids, so you can see how things really are, how we're living, and then I'm gonna drop you off over there so you can hate your parent and wish that, and feel like they didn't give you the type of life that I gave my children. And it's almost like they're literally in battle with you without you even knowing. They're trying to destroy you without you even knowing. You know, they're doing nice things for you. They're buying things. They're selling you out. You know, they're selling your parents out. They're causing confusion in your home. The devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. They're causing confusion in your home. And by the time these people ruin your family, they're off taking your grandparents' inheritance. And now that man who said, hey, one day this old lady's house will be mine, now that house is really his, and he doesn't give a damn about the wife. He doesn't give a damn about those kids. Everything was a facade, because guess what? He was thinking ahead. So while his wife and kids are all sitting at the table and they're taking a family picture, what you said in the beginning when you were dating, it showed up years later, decades later. And it just so happened everyone is blaming your wife for being a narcissist, but someone who can really see between the lines can see that the narcissist had a plan for you, and you went along with the narcissist plan, and you think you're a good person and you're fighting for your family, but you sold your soul to that narcissist and don't even know. And then you wonder why your bad things happen, or your kids hate you, or, you know, or why things are dysfunctional, why your children feel like they have a dad but they don't really have a father, because he's mean, because he's not really emotional, because he's not really involved. He was never a family man. It was all a facade. And these people will still act like they're happy, still eat at dinner table like nothing. And that man is there making jokes, acting like he's so charming and charismatic. And he's sitting there with his big belly hanging out and his bald head. No offense to anyone, but I'm just speaking facts. Acting like he's just suave, acting like he's just like this sexy hunk, you know, like he's the king of the jungle, right? So narcissism just goes on. And sometimes, you know, this is why people tell you, you know, there's a difference between a narcissist and people with narcissistic traits. Sometimes you have to do narcissistic things. It's not that you want to do them. It's not doing narcissistic things, but moving, like thinking like a narcissist, so that you don't get caught up in their web. You have to think like them, not to get caught up in their web. And even when you think like them, to not get caught up in their web, guess what? They're going to be mad at you when you catch on to them. When they realize that you can think like them, they'll act like you're the narcissist because you can think like them and you caught them in the act and you beat them to the punch because you knew they were playing a game. You didn't even want to play the game, but then you said, damn, I'm gonna have to play it or they're gonna kill me, you know. So then you have all these narcissists, right? Parents. Sometimes you'll think to yourself, why is it that certain narcissistic parents like enable their children so much, right? They enable the narcissist. They enable the narcissist because they created that monster. So the reason they don't give up on the narcissist is because they know, hey, we're going to be the ones to get you out of tough situations. We're going to be the ones to enable you the way other people can't enable you. We're the ones you can depend on. Yeah, I know you might, you might be ego driven, but that's okay. It's better than being a punk. That's how they're looking at it. That's why you're thinking, man, these people are evil. The family is evil, because they're looking at it like, I'd rather have my son be a womanizer, this evil person, but guess what? He's going to stay on top. He's going to have a good job. Yeah, he might be a narcissist in the workforce, but he's going to keep it because he's going to be willing to chew people up and spit them out. They're going to eventually be like us. I know they're a little wild right now because they're in college, they're having fun, They keep telling, they keep thinking I'm the narcissist because I'm telling them certain things, and they're telling me, hey, stop judging my friends, stop judging people, stop discriminating, mom, stop doing all these things, mom, it's bad. They're going against their parents, but at the same time, they can't completely cut their parents because they need them, and their parents know that. So now, when they see that certain friends and people around them don't have the same opportunities as them, now they clean up their act. You see, when the narcissist, they could be a junkie, drug addict, their parents, people are helping them. They get the most help. Narcissists get the most help. They do. You're an empath, they don't feel sorry for you. It's like going to a job and you really need the job and you're like, I'll do anything, I'll work overtime. And then you don't get the job because you were too desperate. The narcissist is like, I don't even need this job. And they're like, here, you can have it. So narcissists a lot of times get a lot of help. And then by the time the narcissist decides, okay, I'm gonna be a family man now. My friends are getting married, time for me to settle down. All that wild life I was living, all that stuff I was talking to my parents about, my friends, they were right. They were thinking ahead. They were planning ahead. They were right about those people. I have it way better than them. Now they're acting brand new. Now they're becoming their parents. Now they're becoming judgmental, even more judgmental. Now they're discriminating just like their parents. But now they're going to go out into the world and act like that's not who they are to the core. They're going to say, I'm still a good person because I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just trying to survive like everyone else. Everyone else is about themselves, so I have to be about myself. I know I shouldn't say certain things out loud because it can get me in trouble. I've already gotten in a lot of trouble. So I'm going to learn how to control my behavior now. And they act, they live their happily lives like they're not crushing over other people. And then they got the nerve, to hit you with the Kim Kardashian. If you guys, want to get to my level, get your ass up there and work, right? And you're sitting there like, I don't have the same life. I don't have help. I don't have opportunities. I don't have, a family dynamic. you know, or I'm an only child. I don't have, you know, money for daycare. You know, you have all these issues, or I have a disability, you know, different issues. And the narcissist will not have any empathy, no remorse, no compassion. They got their foot on your necks, because to them, they're always thinking ahead. You should have been thinking ahead. The people around you should have been helping you think ahead. And by the time that you realize that, you know, they've already crushed you. They finished you off, you know. They felt like, hey, I have the same perspective that other people have of you. You know, they stereotype even, you know. I've seen, you know, the narcissists, you know, I've seen narcissists that, like in families, who will talk down on their kids, like where I'll be around certain, you know, I've been around certain people and I'm like thinking in my head, like my family would never talk to, like my family's narcissistic, but like different, like very sneaky, you know, or sarcastic with jokes, you know. They're not like aggressive, it's more like sarcastic. I'm gonna do something to you and avoid you. I'm gonna make sure I don't come to this family gathering if I know you're gonna be there, because I know I lied on you about something, or I told your business. It's very different. It's in a different, it's the same thing, but in a different way. When you go to like, when you get around lower grade narcissists, they're so angry. And that's what makes narcissism, that's what certain people might have not been a narcissist, but they came across so many narcissists that they started to become just like the narcissist in order to survive, because they almost had to pick up on the narcissist blueprint, you know. So I've seen people who are literally down talking children. You know, they're calling the children stupid, dumb. You're gonna be just like your dad. You know, you're gonna be just like your mom. You know, because there's women out there too that abandon their children. And I'm not talking about the women who abandon their children because they're dealing with a narcissist who made them to be the crazy person. But I'm talking about, you know, and a lot of times those women, the reason the narcissist was able to, there was something going on in your life that someone was able to bring you down to that low level. There was some, you needed something, guidance, love. You know, the pain took over you, you know, because you weren't thinking ahead. And then afterwards, it was like you didn't make any more plans for your life. And you stayed stuck in that trauma. And, you know, that's how narcissists move, because they're thinking ahead. They're thinking, I'm going to drive you crazy, and then I'm going to take these kids, you know. But they'll talk down on their children, you know. They'll talk down on the children if your parent, if they were able to sabotage your parent. Oh, you're gonna end up just like your mother. You know, they already feel like, and you'll be a kid. You know, I've seen it. And these are children. Like, I'm talking about 8, 9 years old. And people are already telling them that their life isn't going to be shit. They're not going to make it out. Nobody else made it out. You're not going to make it out. Instead of encouraging the younger generation, everyone in the house just mad at their lives. And then you come from a family who you might, you know, they might be narcissists. So you will connect to those type of low grade narcissists, thinking that you can't do better. This is why this is why a lot of narcissists in high places don't like to date down. This is why my family, you know, cut me off, because I dated down. And I felt like it's love. Love is love. I wasn't stuck in that fantasy, you know? I'm telling you guys because I really messed up. Like, I messed up bad. Like, bad. I was, like, in lust. Because it wasn't love when that person was planning ahead. It got to the point where the narcissist even had told me, you know, at the end of the relationship, like, you know, they wanted to put their name on my house. They were like, you know, that's the only way, you know, we can make it official. If it's, you know, like, it doesn't, we've been together all these years, but you feel like the only way, you know, we can get married and really do this is if you have something that's not yours, that's not yours, you know? You know, it's like when people get married and they want certain things because they feel like they married you, and you're kind of like, I had these things before I married you. Why would I give you what I have? And they're like, well, you introduced me to this lifestyle. They're planning ahead. They were already thinking to themselves, if you leave me, I better get something out of it. Because they wouldn't have married a broke person and said that, you know? So you realize that most people are opportunists. Most people get into relationships because they're both gaining something out of it, and that just makes the relationship better. Especially if you could work together, it makes it better. But never underestimate people thinking ahead. You know, it might be working for right now because you're making money together and you're like, oh, I'm happily married, you know. But people really do switch up and change. And they'll start thinking ahead, getting into relationships with people, expecting you to know that the relationship has come to an end anyway. They're like, the relationship already came to an end. And you're taking your vows seriously, like, you know, for better or for worse. You're willing to accept abuse. You're willing to accept cheating. You know, you're willing to, you act like it's not even happening. As long as they come home, I'm gonna just act like nothing's happening. And they're thinking ahead. So, you know, my biggest regret in life, I would say, is that I was never thinking ahead. I was always living in the moment, especially when I was with the narcissist. It was like, I felt like I was on a high and I didn't want to come down. And it was hard to break it. It was hard to break that addiction. And it's like this type of love, whatever you want to call it, that these hormones that's like, even when they're gone, you still want that high, but it's not, but you don't want it because you know it's not good for you. And you know that if you take a hit of it again, it's not going to get you high the same way. And you're not really going to get high. It's more about you want that feeling. You want to get high off of the narcissist again. But it's nothing like that first hit. It's nothing like that first time.